Hello, Fantasy NBA fans, coming to you live from Make the Waffle Studios in beautiful Longmont, Colorado. I've tried to reconfigure some things so that you can see better what I'm doing on my screen. This is your Week 7 Fantasy NBA update. The one thing I did notice in looking at some videos, you couldn't see my team names down here at the bottom of my spreadsheets. So I've tried to reconfigure some OBS Studio things to make those a little more visible. And let's get into it. First and foremost, you might notice there are two Thunder teams down here. I feel like this one that's just Thunder is probably not going to survive past this year. There was talk about deleting that league. Somebody spammed the chat with a bunch of racist stuff, and we got him kicked out of the app, but a lot of people left over it, and so I don't know if that league's going to survive. I really don't. But the idea was you get the whole Thunder roster minus one player for an expansion franchise, which we don't need to talk about. I may do a video on this format sometime and talk about the minutiae of putting the league together. But just know on this roster, I got everybody except one player from the Thunder roster. And I actually don't remember which player I didn't get. So then, and when they decided they were probably going to delete that league based on the racist guy who got kicked out, they created another one. So I have called this one 2.0 Thunder because I also there got the Thunder roster. And I will say in this league, this week I did trade away Isaiah Joe. I got Liam McNeely and a little pick swap for 2028 way in the future. But somebody really wanted Isaiah Joe. And something I'll talk a little bit about in this video is number of starting spots. In this older Thunder League, we have 10 starting spots, which, by the way, I love. Joe becomes a little more relevant because he hits my starting lineup on this one with 10 spots pretty frequently. He started 5 weeks out of 5, so that works. But over here on this 2.0 Thunder, we only have 7 starting spots. So that gives me a little bit more flexibility. I don't know that Joe's ever going to be like a superstar, let's call it. I do have a feeling that McNeely someday might end up being better than Joe, frankly. So that's why I made that deal. Also, the guy really, really wanted Joe, and I want people to have fun doing these things. And so if I'm not emotionally invested in a player and someone really wants him and they're willing to do a fair deal, then I'm generally willing to work that out. So let's talk a little bit about the week. Overall, I went 10 and 4. So that's 14 games, if you will. And no, I'm not in 14 leagues. Some of them are against the league average. So you get a couple of matchups in one league. And again, I kind of have this feeling that going into the next year, some of these leagues aren't going to make it. And if they get deleted or if it looks like there's just not enough active members or something, then I might just scale back is kind of what I'm getting at. So, so just know, it seems a little nuts, and it probably is. Let's just be honest. Maybe I'm just trying to make it sound better. After the new year, by the way, my schedule's going to change a lot work-wise, I think. And so I don't know. We may not have as much time to delve into these things. But since we do have the time now, I'm going to. So on the 2.0 Thunder League, our record, I tried to put records up here. In fact, I ought to just change the color on these so they're kind of more easy to see. Our record is 3-1. So we did not get started on the first of the season because of this other league's drama. So we also don't play the league average on this one, and yet we do on the other one. So there were some tweaks as it relates to some of these things. So 7 starting lineup spots on this team, and you can kind of see those reflected over here based on the week 8 projections where I think people should fall. And by the way, that doesn't usually work out that perfectly. You'll get someone down here who has a really good night, and so you'll have to kind of work them in up here somewhere, and one of these people might end up having to be a utility or something. But anyway, so I try to kind of give it a little forecast. Also, I guess the NBA Cup is this week, so the schedule's a little weird in that it's a little light at the moment, and maybe we don't know exactly who's playing whom until later. But just know this. I have ranked my players, sorted them, if you will, in this column based upon their Week 8 projection. This is a 32-team dynasty, though. So there are 30 NBA franchises. 30 owners took one team each. I took the Thunder. 2 other guys put together an expansion roster based upon one player from each team. After we had protected 6, they got to pick one player off of each roster, and then we got the rest. So 8 teams will make the playoffs. I think Sleeper is a little bit limited in how many teams it will allow in the playoffs. I feel like in a 32-team league, you could easily do, a couple of play-in games. You could have 12 teams easily in the playoffs. Maybe even as many as 16, but whatever. So 32-team dynasty, 8 teams make the playoffs. This past week, we actually lost to an undefeated team, Sacramento of all teams. I would not have thought that was the case, but they've probably made some moves and are not playing with just a straight Sacramento lineup. I don't know. I didn't look that close. We did lose to them by 6 points. So now at 3-1, we are 12th in the standings and out of the playoffs. But there's a long season to go. We're still, again, not even halfway through. We're I guess right at about a third of the way through. 12th in points scored, which is a little bit troubling because if you're trying to finish in the top 8, you probably want to be in the top 8 on points scored. And we're only 13th in points against, so we haven't really caught a whole lot of bad breaks here. So I don't know if this team's necessarily going to make the playoffs. However, I don't really plan on making, again, a whole lot of moves. I've had to turn down trade offers again for Williams and Holmgren and Wallace and Wiggins and, just a whole bunch of people trying to trade for these Thunder players. And I have been telling them no, except with the exception of Isaiah Joe. I did let him go. So we'll see. I think over the course of time, I'm just going to kind of follow Oklahoma City's lead here. If they end up trading one of these guys away, then maybe I'll trade also. But I'll wait. I'll wait until then. So that's the plan. SGA was out one of the 3 games, which caused me to have to pick. I had to lock in a point total for him that I wasn't really happy about because I thought he was going to play another game. And then when he didn't, I was kind of stuck with what he had. So that hurt us a little. And then Hartenstein's been out, and that hurt us a little too, I think. So, to lose by 6, I think as long as we just kind of keep plugging away, we should be fine. I had 3 top picks and 1 worst pick. So out of 7 possibilities, 3 were the best. 3 were average, I guess, and 1 was the worst. I didn't go look to see who the worst was. It might have been SGA. In fact, I'll bet it was because of that injury thing. We were 14th in scoring this week, and our efficiency was 93%. And as far as I'm concerned, if I'm over 90%, I'm feeling pretty good. So 93, not bad. I think that covers it for this Thunder team. Let's just touch base on this other Thunder team, and this one's the one I think may not make it beyond this year. I'm a little surprised it's still around. But our record is 9-1, and again, I think that is in part because there's 10 starting spots, and with the Thunder, they're deep. Like if they have somebody out, they've always got somebody kind of behind them ready to fill in the blank. So this team is 9-1. 8 teams make the playoffs. It's a 32-team dynasty, just like the other one. We were 2-0 last week, so we beat our opponent and we beat the average. We are second in the West, and we are first in points for, and we are 4th in points against. So this team, I think, has caught a couple of rough breaks. Probably should be undefeated, frankly, but we'll take 9-1. That's fine. So currently the 3 seed out of an 8-team playoff bracket, and I feel like this team, especially again going 10 deep, like my lowest player typically has like 10 or 11 points. I know for a fact there are other teams that their 10th player is getting them like 3. So I think I'm probably going to be in pretty good shape on this one if it survives. If both of these leagues do keep running, I probably will stay in them just because I like having the Thunder. And if I trade Joe in one, I can keep Joe in the other and have some diversity that way. So I do kind of like that. We were third in scoring this week. We had a 94% efficiency, which is pretty good. Even though I did have to lock Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in at a different point total than I would have liked, he was still the top point guard in the league. So can't argue with that. I had 5 top picks and 0 worst picks on this one. So that 10-person starting lineup is to my advantage, that's for sure. So we won't spend a ton of time on that. Already got them sorted out, for this week. And there's the starting lineup spots if you want to see those. Here's another 32-teamer. I got the Pistons. This one was the one where I wanted Oklahoma City. And had I gotten Oklahoma City in this one, I wouldn't even be in the other two. But I was literally a half second late in picking Oklahoma City. So I picked the Pistons. And so I ended up with them, and I've actually had a pretty good time with this team. So we're 5-2. Again, this is a weird 32-team league where only 6 teams make the playoffs. I think somebody just forgot to check, and me and my friend have talked about changing it. And there's at least one guy who's like, "You can't change it this year." I actually think we could, but I'm not going to press it. So going into future years, I plan on staying in this one if it survives, and I hope there's 8 teams that make it. We won last week, so just 1-0. We don't play the average. We are in 7th place of all things. And again, 6 make the playoffs. I think that's going to be the story with this team all year. We are 4th in points scored. So I think we are going to make the playoffs. But we're 17th in points against. So we've been getting a little bit of a break as far as playing an easy schedule. And then when we do play someone good, it seems like they must kind of go nuts against us. So hopefully the law of averages works out on this, and we end up in the middle of that playoff pack, and then we see what we can do. I do have a trade pending in this league. I was needing to clear a roster space. Basically, everyone's coming off of injured reserve, and I picked up some rookies just from the waiver wire, and so I got a guy. Martin, who I put out there and said, "Hey, look, I need the roster space if somebody wants him." And someone sent me a 3rd-round pick for him, and I accepted. Now, this is one of those weird moments where maybe somebody says they're going to veto it or something. I don't know. I don't know why we have 3rd-round picks with a 32-team league. That's another thing. I'm basically giving this guy away for free, but I got to be honest. I'm going to have to cut somebody. Probably wouldn't have been him. But I'd rather get something for them than just have to cut someone. So, I don't know. Rookie named A. Martin. I don't even remember who he plays for or anything. But he's not a Piston. And I got a 3rd-round pick for him. By the way, I have a friend of mine in this league. He was 1st in scoring this week. So he's rolling right along. He's fine. I had 8 top picks and 0 worst picks in this league for a 100% efficiency. And there are 8 spots in the starting lineup. So, I was 8 for 8. And we were 5th in scoring this week. So, I think the Pistons team is going to be fine. I'm really, again, looking for Jaden Ivey to start coming on. I feel like this guy can be a star. He has just had to battle through some injuries for well over a year now. And I think they're easing him back in. But if you put him, he used to have eligibility at small forward. He doesn't anymore. Now it's Amen Thompson who does, but who plays small forward. But, man, if I can get Ivy in there, hitting 15 to 20 a week, I think that'd be awesome because that puts this team, I think, over the top. So not a whole lot of other moves really looking to be made here. Let's move on. Sleeperholics. So somebody drafted this team, and then I took it over. So this is this team's first year in this league. We are 9-5, which I am a little surprised at. We made a big deal for Fox, point guard for the Spurs, and so we don't have any first round picks for this team. Basically traded them all away. Did, however, also trade. In fact, right before this video here, we did trade Davion Mitchell here for a player I just can't seem to get away from, for Duncan Robinson. And the problem I'm having here is with Mitchell and Alvarado. You'll see my projections over here. I'm at point guard, and I've already got my point guard and utilities full. So I have no place for these guys, Mitchell and Alvarado. So decided to make a trade because I needed someone at small forward. Notice my small forward here is only projected for 9.27. So that's where Duncan Robinson comes in. He actually has small forward as well as both guard eligibility. So he's pretty versatile. I just seem to have him in almost every single spot in a lot of play. It's him and Sam Hauser, who I can't seem to get away from. But whatever. Traded Davion Mitchell. I think now that Harrow is back, Mitchell's not going to be as heavily stat sheet able, and Robinson, he's got a role on Detroit. I know that from my Pistons team. So this one is called Sleeperholics Anonymous. Here, let me move this over just in case people can't see it. I was literally running out of team names, and by the way, I think my new team name on this one might end up being Waiting for Tatum. He is going to be sitting down here at injured reserve all season long, and that is why this team is so weak at small forward, because that's pretty much where he would be going, I think. But anyway, let's do a little rundown here. We're 9-5, which sounds really good. 6 teams make the playoffs in this 32-team dynasty, and again, I hope that changes. But the 9-5 really just puts us 13th in the standings, so we're really close to that playoff position. We are 13th in points for, and we are 5th in points against, and we are 9-5. That is not bad. So I'm going to keep on plugging away with this team, and hopefully with a little small forward help here with Duncan Robinson, maybe that'll help us out. But this team only has 7 starting spots too, and I've definitely noticed that the leagues that give me more starting spots, I do better because I'm very good at managing not just the top of my roster, but the middle of my roster as well. So was the most efficient manager in the league this week. 100% efficiency, 7 top picks and 0 worst picks. So 7 for 7. Not bad. I also, just as a little roster note here, I picked up Kenrich Williams and I dropped Anderson for Utah. Kind of a meh move, but we definitely needed some help center-wise. This guy, Porzingis and Poeltl, both of them, man, just on and off the injury list, and it's really hard to nail them down on a point total for each week. So I think what I'm going to start doing with those two is if they get in a game and play, even if they're a little below their projection or maybe even below their average, I may just lock them in because I've lost some points this week trying to get them to play the next game and do better, and they're out. They're just always out, both of them. So, Kenrich Williams, we'll see. Hartenstein's coming back, so Kenrich's probably just going to ride the bench. But we'll see how that goes. Was there anything else on the Sleeperaholics? I don't think so. On to a team. Man, every time I look at this team, I get a little more excited about it. So here's our projections over here. And I've actually got a couple more columns here as far as stats and that sort of thing. Going into this week, this one only has, again, 7 starting spots. I'm going to probably end up locking in 3 rookies, whatever points they score for me, which are going to be Seraph Coward and Murray Boyles, I think is his name. And then I got a couple of second year players that I'll probably end up locking in. And then the only real old timer I have is Porter, and he's only a 5-year guy. So Nembhard, only a 3rd-year guy as well here. So very young team. Murray, Boyles, Seraph, and Coward are my rookies. Nembhard's a 3-year guy. Porter's a 5-year guy. I haven't even looked at Alvarado there, but even Jones here, who is not currently in my starting lineup, I think is a pretty young guy. Matkovic is pretty young as well. So this team has 4 first-round picks. I did bother to take a look, and they're almost all late. In fact, I don't think I have it with me this second, but could very well be the last 4 picks of the first round. And again, with 32 teams in, those are not very good. But I did reach out to the guy who has my first-round pick that was traded away before I took over this team, and just said, hey, man, I'm going to definitely be looking to move up. And I keep hearing that next year's draft is supposed to be really, really awesome. So I'm hoping I just keep kind of assembling pieces to the point that, if I need to get rid of some picks to move up, maybe even a player and some picks to move up, I might be able to do that. The problem is, again, I don't really have any old guys to get rid of. And, that's a good thing in that I can expect to get a lot for them since they're young and they're good. But, man, this team, just as I look at it, is going to be fun to manage. So I really hope this league, maybe among all of them, I hope this is the league that lasts. And when I got into this one, I got to pick the team I wanted. And I did pick this one just because it had some really, really young assets as well as a lot of draft picks. So this team's record is 2-5, which is not great. But again, I'm just going to keep plugging away here at this. So 8 teams make the playoffs in this one. There are 32 teams in the league. We are in 25th place in the standings. We are 20th in points scored, and we are 14th in points against. I really feel like, again, we are probably going to be able to move up the standings a little bit because these are guys, again, as young as they are, they're going to keep getting better. At least that's my hope. So we did lose to the 3rd place team last week. And we also had the highest points in a loss. We had 243 points and 4 top picks and 0 worst picks. So we were 7th in scoring this week. We lost to the number 1 scorer, by the way. The 3rd place team was the number 1 scorer. But we were 95% efficient. So get to put Ben Seraph in the starting lineup, I think, for the first time this week. I guess he's made a couple of starts, but he's now projected to do pretty well this week, which I think the other times he wasn't. And I just got lucky and had him in there. But there's a rookie that I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what he can do. And then I did put a few of the small forwards on the trade block, basically trying to free up a roster spot. Also pick up some more of those picks that I was talking about. So this is one of those, again, one of those moments where if we can trade away Fontecchio, maybe. I like him, but he's more of a depth piece. And Hauser is, again, here's the Hauser one more time. In fact, I did trade him on this team, so and picked up Ellis. So that was with the guy, by the way, who has all the draft picks next year, including mine. That I want to create some goodwill and try and move up next year. So, by the way, he's 1-6. So I think that Hauser for Ellis trade doesn't really affect the league that much. It's just, greasing the wheels a little, as we like to say. I think that pretty much covers that team, but I really, really am looking forward to draft time with this team here. That is going to be really fun. We'll just keep on grinding it out this season. Notice, by the way, I've only got 1 player, it looks like, with that I've started every single week, and that's Coward. And look at all these people that have made their way into the lineup at least one time. So I'm really happy about that. That means I'm putting people in just to see what they do, and they're popping. So that works. Here's another 32-teamer where I ended up with the Celtics roster. I'm pretty happy about this team because when I took it over, I figured, if I can go 500, kind of bridge season waiting for Tatum. This is another waiting for Tatum team. But, man, it's actually not been the case. We are 5-2, and I think this team's going to make the playoffs. I really do. So let's get into it with this team. Now, there are 6 teams, again, that make the playoffs in this league, 32 teams, and we, again, are currently 7th in the standings. Last week, we did lose to a 3-4 team, which I found to be a little upsetting. I felt like that was a team we should have beat. We did, again, have the highest points in a loss, 177. We had 4 top picks and 1 worst pick, and we were 6th in scoring this week. We lost to the third highest scoring team. So there are 8 starting spots in this league. And again, I had 4 of them that I picked the best and 1 that I picked the worst. So could be a little more efficient here. But I think in the long run, if we keep grinding with this Celtics team, I think we're going to be fine. Keita has been awesome. Brown has been awesome. And we just kind of tread water this year and take it as a gravy season, really. Maybe we win it all, maybe we don't. But then next year we get Tatum. So that can only make us better, right? Let's move on to finally one that's not a 32-team dynasty. This one is a 16-team redraft. 8 teams make the playoffs. So half the league is going to be in the playoffs. We are 5-2. Again, not bad. I'm a little shocked again that this team has managed to lose a couple of games. That's for sure. We are first in points scored, and 15th in points against. So I don't understand how we lost 2 games. I really don't. We must have just really blown away the teams we won against, and just kind of barely lost to the teams that beat us. But I think, again, grinding away, this team's probably going to be fine. We were 4th in scoring this week at a 94% efficiency. There are 10 starting spots on this in this league. We had 6 top picks and 0 worst picks. So not bad. Can't complain with that. I'm generally getting about 40 points per starter on this league. We are deep, and man, I'm putting people in. They're scoring 28 points, and I'm having to bench them and not take those 28 points because there's a guy on the bench that could probably get me 40. So I'm going to get better and better at that as we go. But this Tulsarado team is really, really good. But again, we got to just start over next year. This is a high likely candidate for me to say, if I'm in too many leagues, I maybe don't do this one next year. It doesn't require nearly as much thought process, I don't think. Basically, I just keep putting players in there. They keep killing it. I keep locking them in. It's kind of ho-hum, which I'm sure not everybody in this league agrees. It's probably not that easy, but I drafted very, very well in this one. So Boulderama, Tulsarado, Boulderhoma's doing pretty good. Let's talk about a team that, again, I will definitely stay in. This is a 14-team dynasty league, which I used to think was huge back in the day. I have since discovered now with a few 32-team leagues that, no, 14 is baby. Baby size, that's for sure. But big week for this one. This is my 5th season in this dynasty league. This team has sucked since I took it over. And believe it or not, the last couple of years it's sucked even worse since I took it over, which has been a little discouraging, I got to be honest. But it did kind of get me into some other leagues. I had a guy who said, hey, you manage your team. We need you over here to cover this other thing. And so I guess it's paid off. But for what it is worth, the Oklahoma Outlaws went 2-0 last week. We beat our opponent, and we beat the average. We only played a 2-12 team, so it's not like we played someone real great. But if we keep beating that average, I feel like that's going to work to our advantage. So my goal with this team was 500. And believe it or not, we're only 8 points away from being a couple of games above 500. But we did kind of squeak by the average a couple of times too. So I think that's kind of 500 sounds about right, regardless. So anyway, 7-7. We're going to take it right now. Harrison Barnes with the 30 spot. Ended up picking him up, I think, in a trade a couple of years ago, and he's in, he's out. He's just kind of been blah. But I got him in a good spot this week, and he paid off. Jarris Walker has been killing me. He started the season pretty hot, but he only got me 2 points this week. This is the league, by the way, that you have to pick your players before they play. So all the other leagues, you get to see the points, and then you lock them in based on what you think they're going to do the next game. So you kind of, all the other leagues, you have a way of kind of mitigating your risk. If a guy lays an egg, you can literally just forget those points, throw him on the bench, throw someone else in, or wait till his next game or whatever and see if he does better. This one, you have no such luxury. You are stuck with whoever you start before that game starts. The only way you get out of that is if they end up hurt and they don't play at all, then you get another shot. But if they are in there for 2 seconds, you're stuck with whatever they got. So efficiency is a little difficult in this one. So yeah, I would never start Jarris Walker if I thought he was only going to score 2 points. And that's what I'm stuck with because that's what he did. So we'll have to rethink that some. I think I do have him in the lineup this week. Yeah, we'll just have to keep on plugging away. That's all we can do. Looking at my notes here, we are in 8th place out of 14. So we are not in the playoffs. 6 teams make the playoffs, and it's a 14-team league. We are 8th in points for, and we are 9th in points against. So I think we're pretty average. I think that's what we are. My hope is, as the season goes along, we catch a few breaks. Somebody starts to develop. This team also has Jaden Ivey, who I've not even been using. And if he comes on, I think we should be fine heading down the stretch. We did get a start from Suggs. He's been surging. That was a trade that we did. And this team also has Keita, Neemias Keita, for the Celtics. He actually, I looked, I have waiver wire added him 3 times since joining this league. I've cut him, picked him up, cut him, picked him up, cut him, picked him up. So 3 times. And then I think in there somebody else had him too. So he's just been sort of floating around out there. But, man, this year he's been great. And I think that's because Tatum's been out in a lot of ways. I have a 43% chance to win this week against the 6th place team. This is one of those moments, I think, where if this team wants to turn a corner, we need to go 2-0. I will be happy with 1-1. If we beat the average and lose to the 6th place team, then fine. But if we go 2-0 and he goes 1-1 or 0-2, that puts us in a little bit of a playoff situation. So, again, I'll take a playoff spot, but if I don't get it, the winner of the consolation bracket in this league gets a consolation pick at the end of the first round. And I am already looking to get it. If I don't make the playoffs, I am looking to win that pick because I don't have a first round pick coming into this next draft, and I really want one. So I will be looking to trade into, even using future picks, trade into this year's draft because I want to get better. So we had 5 top picks and 3 worst picks. Our efficiency was 78%. Which again is not great, but remember, number one, we had to pick players before they play. We don't get to pick them after. And this league has 12 starters. This is the biggest starting lineup of any league I have. It's only 14 teams, but it's 12 starters, which means you've got to really manage the middle and bottom of your roster. You really do. So there are some really good teams in this league. And I wish I had gotten in on this one during the original draft, but I was not in on it and just took this team over, and it sucked, and it's trying to get better. We have won 4 straight, by the way, to get to 500. So we were 3-7, and now we are 7-7. So we'll take it. That is for sure. Little Rock Boulders. This team is in a 18-team dynasty. I think, again, this team took the place of a league, or this league took the place of a league I was in last year that ended up deleted. It was a 24-team league. So I think what they did was they cut off the riffraff, the people who didn't pay attention, and cut down the number of teams, and then opened the new league to the people who were active. So we did get to redraft. I did get to draft this team, and we are 6-0-1. So this team's doing extremely well. It appears that 8 teams do make the playoffs out of the 18-team league, and this team I think is going to make the playoffs. By the way, in that league again that I was in last year that now no longer exists, it was a 24-team league. I finished 9th, 1 spot out of the playoffs. So a little bit of a redemption tour going on here. We are 3rd in points scored, and we are 16th in points against, and that's okay. I think maybe that's how we lucked into that tie, and I'm okay with that, because that tie, again, so far has worked out to be a win, because that has put us at first place in the East, which also puts us at the number 1 seed. We are the only undefeated team in the league, so yeah, I like it. I did pick up a guy, B. Williams, for Dallas off of the waiver wire. And then as it turned out, I needed the roster spot, because someone was coming off of injured reserve. I think it's Kobe White. So I reached out to the guy who has Nembhard for Dallas, rookie point guard, who is hurt at the moment, and that's why Williams is doing okay. Asked him if he wanted him. He offered me a 3rd-round pick for him, and I took it. So there was another little tweak on a roster. Pick up a guy, keep him for a minute, and then when you need to get rid of him, send out some feelers, see what people say. Look for the guy who might need that guy, which is what I did. Had to pause there, little cough. Murray was the top point guard in the league this week. Towns was the top center in the league this week. Towns was my number 1 pick in this league. So, and he has paid off already as a number 1 pick. So kind of boring number 1 pick, but I would probably do it again. I was in the middle of the first round, so if there's 18 teams, I think I was somewhere around 9, and so I picked up Towns. I do need to find a place. There's a guy named Renaud out there. He's a rookie, I think, for the Kings, and he's out there as a free agent, and I need to find a roster spot for that guy. And I've not really been able to do so. I picked up a couple other rookies and have them on my bench. We didn't get to use our taxi spots this year, which is kind of upsetting. Or if we did, I think it was weird timing at the beginning of the year, something like that. But I will be looking into that, so hopefully I can follow up next week, let you know how that went. We had 5 top picks and 1 worst pick. We were 4th in scoring this week with a 93% efficiency, and this team has 9 starting spots. And when everyone's healthy on this team, it's pretty good. I'm getting 350 a week or so. I just really see this team going places. I don't plan on making any huge real moves to screw that up, frankly. But I would like to stack some rookies on the bottom end, and that way I've got some developmental stuff moving forward. So that's where we're at with the Little Rock Boulders. I think this is the last team we need to talk about, the Oklahoma Supersonics. This team is terrible. We are 3-4. And that's actually not bad. This team's not been real great. Second worst team in the league's history, and it's definitely been going for at least a year before this one. But it has been neglected, and it's been horrible. I've taken heat for every move I've made. There's a bunch of whiners in the chat. This is that team. So, just real quick. At 3-4, 8 teams make the playoffs. This is a 24-team dynasty. And I can tell you this. It's one thing to suck in a 32-teamer, because you're going to catch some teams ever so often that suck just as bad as you do in a 24 teamer or an 18 teamer or a 16 teamer or a 14 teamer. Those other teams that suck are fewer and further between. You don't get as many gimmies, frankly. So this one I think is going to be hard. I remember trading away my first round pick for next year for Curry, and then I ended up trading Curry for some other stuff. And I do have some first round picks, just not mine. And the guy who got it said he expected that to be a top 10 pick. It is my goal to not finish in the bottom 10 in this league. I want to finish 500. I want to finish right kind of in the middle, somewhere around 12 would be perfect, and then we'll build from there. So right now, we are 15th in the standings, which would make that a number 9 pick, which I don't like. So we're going to try and do better. But we're 17th in points for, and we're 19th in points against. So I think we gotta make some moves. And this is a team where if someone comes along with some trades, especially for Draymond Green or Huerter, I will definitely entertain those bids, those trades. So so far nobody's come knocking. We were 18th in scoring for the week. We did have 5 top picks and 0 worst picks, and we were at 97% efficiency. This is a team, though, I think a lot of that is efficiency by default. It's not real deep, and so I don't have a whole lot of other choices, really. But I don't know. I mean, look at my diversification of lineups here. I mean, I do have a lot of people who have made it in and out of lineups, but 2 starts were by Curry, who I don't have anymore. So I don't know. Yeah, just something to think about. I mean, Draymond Green's leading the league and leading my team in starts, and I'm really excited. That one time I didn't have to start him, I was really excited about it. So we'll see how that goes over the long haul. Trying to finish 500 on this team. So anyway, I think that covers it for this week. Really enjoying this. Again, after the first of the year, I don't know how much time I'll have to devote to it, depending on work schedules and stuff, but really have enjoyed kind of getting deeper into it. And I can tell you this, whatever league you get into that's important to you, get into some other ones, because it will allow you to have some perspective on the one that's important. If you're only in the one, it's hard to really understand the value of players and stuff like that. I feel like being in more than one helps. So, by the way, I do have a little draft board set up here, and I can't wait to kind of figure out where these picks are going to land. This one's the Sporty McSport ball, and these first 4 picks right here are going to be pretty late in the first round, I'm afraid. So, but there's some teams in here that have some capital. This team picked up another second round pick. They'll have another. Second round pick going into next year. And hopefully if I pick up a few of those, I can maybe use those, move up a little bit. I'm going to really try to compile some 2026 draft picks, because I do think that draft is going to be pretty deep. I think that covers it. We'll do some fantasy football stuff here. By the way, I got some baseball down here on the bottom of my spreadsheet as well. So when baseball gets started, we'll start looking at some of that. And then here's all my football down here too. So if you're following my football videos, you'll get to see some of those tomorrow. We'll have some playoff spots and some not playoff spots, I think, for some teams going into next week. So you guys stay safe out there. I've had to pause several times for just this cold and coughing and stuff. So if that got a little weird or herky-jerky or awkward or whatever, I apologize. But hey, there's your Week 7 update for Fantasy NBA Dynasty Leagues, and I will plan on seeing you next week.